All right, let's start. Welcome, everybody. It's an absolute pleasure to have you all here. Thank you very much for taking time out of your day to attend. I'm certainly excited to be introducing you all to data games. And let's just have a quick look at what we're going to cover off today. Now, we'll look at how to gamify agents to drive performance and meet business objectives, capture and analyze performance data across multiple systems, and encourage, reward, and engage your contact center workforce. Now, my name's Philip Brandt. I'm the country manager for Synergy, and online, I'll be your MC today. Online, we also have Kanal, CEO and founder of Data Games. I will provide you all with a very brief introduction on Synergy and Data Games, and then we will let Kanal take over. Now, Synergy was founded in 1999, and we've been at the forefront of the experience economy since before such a term even existed. And that's really underpinned by our deep skill set in contact center. So we have employees across Australia and New Zealand, and we've worked on projects worldwide. And we're very lucky to have been in the space for some time. So we have seen the transition from on-premise to cloud, and during that, we've managed to partner with some of the world's leading cloud-based technology vendors, the likes of Twilio, Genesys, Freshworks, Data Games, and Jabra. Now, about Data Games. Data Games is a Melbourne-based startup. In 2019, they were recognised as the most innovative startup globally, which is a big feat, with 60 plus customers who have implementations across gamification and analytics. They're already aligning themselves with some of the world's largest and most well-known brands. Now, throughout today's session, we want you to ask questions. Please feel free to do so. But to ensure we streamline the process, your questions will remain in the Q&A box. And then during the Q&A session, toward the end of the webinar, we will deal with those and answer your questions accordingly. We've also got an Uber Eats voucher to give away today. Now, obviously your time is valuable and we want to be able to reward you for being here. So pay attention, and at the end of the webinar, there'll be a question for you about something that either Kanal or myself have discussed. And the person who correctly answers that question in the chat first wins a $50 Uber Eats voucher. Now, without further ado, I'd like to pass over to Kanal. Over to you, mate.
Thanks, Phil. And gamification of webinar, $50 reward at the end of it. I like it. So thank you all. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to learn more about data games. I really appreciate the opportunity. And I hope we'll make this time worthwhile for all of you. As Phil mentioned, honored and privileged that we won the Stevie Award and have done 60 plus gamification implementations globally, work with some of the major brands, and hope we can add some value to all of you who have joined the webinar today. So a little bit about data games. So we call ourselves data games for a very simple reason. We collect data and create games on the back of it. And our vision as a business is to really help contact centers see and understand data to drive employee engagement. So as much as a gamification, we are a data company as well. So I want to highlight that, and I'll highlight that throughout the presentation. Now, if you think about contact center space, and that's where we predominantly operate, so most of the contact centers find it really hard to identify what's causing poor sales, services, or if it's an IT help desk, it becomes very hard to understand what's causing poor performance or what's causing poor customer experience or employee experience. Purely because in contact center landscape, there are so many different technologies. There are contact centers, there are CRM technologies, there are workforce management technologies, and it becomes really hard for contact centers to collect data across the multiple sources, reconcile it, and figure out the real root cause behind poor sales and services. Now, some of the organizations do have good data warehouses, so they're probably able to put the data together or put the data in a data warehouse so it can be consumed in a particular manner. But the challenge that happens, even if you put the data together, is to extract employee behavior or motivation insights is always a challenge, right? So how do you know what's causing poor experience, and what is stopping employees from engaging with the brand. As per Gartner, 87% of Gen Ys, who are people that are dropped out, that born after 1983 onwards, would complain at some level of engagement issues during their work career. And talking about contact centers, 80% of contact center staff is born 1983 onwards and would have played 10,000 hours of games. So to motivate them, to engage them with the work that they're doing is always an ongoing challenge, and organizations introduce a bunch of different reward programs and reward systems, which often only reward the guys at the top and don't really focus on majority of the population. So 10% stay engaged and 90% tend to leave the organization. And that's a very important pull, especially in today's world where employee engagement has taken a front seat, especially when COVID has hit and people are working from home, and engaging employees that are working from home is a mega challenge for most of the organizations, right? Now, let's assume a scenario where we got really good insights on sales. We have really sales or services. We got really good insights on employee behavior, and we know what's really stopping them from producing great results. Many organizations still struggle to take those behaviors and motivate employees on those behaviors, because there is often no actionable insights engine that sits behind those insights, and we see that as another challenge. And now when we look at the COVID landscape, there is a lot of focus for employees working from home. Team leaders have to manage teams that are probably working from home, so they don't get to see each other. So there is diminished socialization. There is a lot of anxiety. People not in on the office gossip, so they don't know what's happening. There is delayed feedback. Would I have a job next week? All those types of things start playing part. And there is already some research coming out, which was produced by Pew Research, that 37% of employees in America are recording some level of anxiety or mental health issues when they're working from home. And contact center is a demanding environment. There is already employee engagement issues. So how do we tackle those engagement issues, especially when employees are working from home, and if we don't have right insights and right tools to really motivate and engage them? And that's where we come in. Ta-da! The solution, data games. Now, from data games perspective, we want to build performance on the back of data. So we want to build a culture using data that contact centers have. And a lot of contact centers have a lot of data. And if you look at the first step within our tool is our wallboard and dashboard solution. So what we effectively do is we collect data across a variety of different sources and put together a cloud data warehouse using Power BI. So we might pull out data from Avaya or Genesis Cloud or Calabria. It doesn't really matter to us. We pull all the data together and we built what we call as common data model. And on the back of that data model, we produce 20 plus Six Sigma reports. We apply Six Sigma technologies to really understand the peaks and bounces and things like that within the employee performance. What are the different call types where employees are struggling? And I'll talk about one of the case studies where we really did call type analysis, right? Where we really understood when there are questions which are related to billing or account related issues, employee throughput or employee customer experience employees were providing was really low. So first step is to really lay off the land together, really understand what's happening in the contact center and put together reports using Power BI. Once we have done that, then that's where we apply machine learning and artificial intelligence. Once we have all the data, then we try and understand at each call level, each transaction level, what are the behaviors that employees are performing and where do they need motivation or where do they need to improve? Is it knowledge? Is it their discipline? Are they not showing up to work on time? Are they just not effective when they're using the CRM application? So we'll identify all those little behaviors and we then take those behaviors, and that's where our actionable insights or the gamification engine comes in, where we pass those behaviors to our gamification layer, and agents would be challenged, team leaders would be challenged, managers would be challenged, or they would be throwing quizzes, there would be cars running. So one of the themes or the narratives that we have in our game is the car race. So for example, Phil, if you and I are working as outbound sales agents and our job is to create as many leads as we can, then you and I will be representing as two fast-moving Formula One cars. And if I was to beat you, I've got to create more leads, I've got to sell more. And those types of little techniques, which are social techniques, game techniques, reputation techniques, is what we apply in our solution in order to engage employees. So it's a data story which gets capped by our gamification layer. That's the overall idea. And that's why we're not a gamification company, or we're not a data warehouse analytics company. What we are a performance management company. So yes, we do gamification. Yes, we do analytics and AI and insights. But those two are modules within our software. We also have coaching and training parameters. So contact center spend a lot of time coaching and training staff. So we have mechanics through which you can quiz the staff or get them to read a particular article and give them points for that. We also have rewards and recognition stores. A lot of contact centers spend hours figuring out or distributing rewards or distributing commissions and things like that. Whereas you can use our rewards and recognition store, and whatever points that they've earned in gamification, they can convert them into some sort of rewards. It could be monetary reward, or it could be gift cards, or it could be, Apple iPhone. If it was me, Phil, I'll be buying as many iPhones or Apple products as I could. But we got some really cool products on our reward store. We keep them really fresh and current as well. And then the last part, which is part of our performance framework, is belonging and connectedness. A lot of agents are working from home, team leaders are working from home. So how do we still maintain that team spirit? How do we get them to communicate with each other? So we got TV screens where you can actually post picture of your own, or if you have done some really cool job, or you have served your customer, gone above and beyond, people can throw notifications or badges, can like each other's work and create that engagement between employees. So we look at it holistically. Obviously data underpins all these activities, but then there is gamification, LMS, rewards and recognition, belonging and connectedness. All those things form what we call as our performance management framework. Now, who gets access to all this, right? And I talked about creating that belongingness, or creating that connectedness between staff, between employees, between agents, team leaders, managers. So what we have is we got different screens for different types of personas that you may have in the contact center. So for example, contact center agent has their own persona where they can log in into their day-to-day activities and really see how they're tracking, how their progress is like. Supervisors or team leaders would have their own persona where they can keep a check on their team, ensure that they're supporting their team. A lot of team leaders spend hours writing reports into this contact center. We sort of take that away from them, save all that time. Our insights engine would give them the insights and reports and analytics that they need, so they can spend more time coaching and training agents or helping them out solve customer questions effectively. As a manager, you have your own persona where you can sort of introduce spot rewards or design games and do different types of things. And as an executive, you have your own persona where you can really understand what's the return on investment on the gamification that we're getting. And then there is a TV broadcast where it can be mounted on a big TV in a contact center, or it can be from home as well, and you can sort of keep it running on a TV or even on the desktop or a computer that you're working on and see what's going on in the organization. And most important thing is we have what we call as an embedded experience. So whether you're using Salesforce, whether you're using Genesys Cloud, whether you're using Avaya, it doesn't really matter. What we will do is we will stick our application inside the application that we're using. And maybe, Phil, I'll try and show a couple of screens as well when we go further in the demo to give people feel for how our application looks like or how it behaves. And so you don't have to go anywhere as an agent. It's single sign-on. They log in. It becomes part of their day-to-day work activities where they can effectively see what's happening as far as gameplay is concerned. But as they play that game, they're actually improving their own productivity. We got our application on Genesys Cloud as well. We're Genesys Cloud Premium partners. We are also Avaya partners. But if you have Genesys Cloud, you can literally instantly make our application live. It readily integrates with contact center, quality management, WFM, survey. It instantly pulls out the data, so you can mount your data warehouse across all those systems depending on the data size. But let's say in and under 3 to 5 days, and you can start using our Power BI reports, get real-time dashboards, real-time analytics, real-time wallboards or historical wallboards, and you can integrate with other technologies as well. So if you have some technology that we don't have integration with, Power BI allows you to connect with those different applications. Or if you have a data warehouse, you can also connect to your data warehouse and start pulling in stats from that data warehouse. And then the last piece of the puzzle is gamification, which is again available where agents get to see the performance stats, and I'll try and show how a Genesis cloud application looks like and what kind of experience people may expect as we go further in the presentation. Yeah, so as an agent, it's all about gameplay. It's about level ups. It's about car avatars. It's about earning badges, rewards by performing those behaviors, or challenging your buddies, winning lottery tickets, and all that kind of cool stuff. So we want agents to engage in the fun of a game, but the behaviors that they have to perform would get those points. So we create that engagement as far as contact center agents are concerned. For supervisors, they get a whole heap of analytics, as I mentioned. Don't want them to spend too much time writing reports or collecting data from a number of different Excel spreadsheets. I mean, we have seen some of the environments where we work with one of the largest contact centers or the BPO providers who's our partner. On an average, team leader was spending 3 to 4 hours of their day's time producing reports or getting stats together. We automated that straight away, saving of 4 hours where team leaders can, and then you tend to get savings there as well. You don't need as many team leaders, right? You can have less number of team leaders, and they spend quality time with agents as opposed to just, producing those reports where team leaders are now much more involved, throwing challenges, quizzes, or throwing them challenge like go and do an online training if you're not really aware, or if you're asking wrong compliance questions. So one of the classic things that platform can do is if you're a team leader and you listen to agent not asking compliant questions, right? Many times what happens is you pull them out for a training and sit down with them and sort of call that behavior out as a team leader. But here, instead of doing that, you can be a little bit more subtle. You throw them a challenge to go and do that training. And when they do that training, they get points. So I feel motivated as an agent to actually perform those activities. And as a team leader, I'm not discussing somebody's performance in a manner that they would not like. And especially in work from home environment, these types of things are super important when we try and engage employees. And as a manager, you can throw spot rewards. You can just introduce, hey, today there are a lot of calls coming in. So, if you keep your wrap time or your average handle time under certain target, I'm going to give you, whoever does the best, I'm going to give them Uber vouchers, Uber Eats voucher. Seems like a team. So I can throw a reward like that. So as a manager, you can come in and create those games. Look at the insights that we're producing, or the MLAI layer, which actually gives you those insights. You take those insights and actually can create games on the back of those insights as well. And as an executive, it should be all about return on investment. What's my net promoter score like? Is this tool really adding value? What is data saying? Which department, which team is performing well? What are the behaviors we're falling behind on? And as you can see here, and I'll show a couple of dashboards as well, live, you will see all this data following the Six Sigma tactics. So a lot of contact centers do have data, but they don't have analytics produced such a way that they look at it and they straight away get what I need to take as an action, just purely because many a times analytics is produced by data analysts who are not Six Sigma experts, whereas what we do is our Six Sigma team comes in and says, hey, this is how a report should look like, and this is the kind of insights that you should gain. So all of that is designed in a way that team leaders, managers can take quick actions or help their team achieve better results. And a quick case study that I want to call out. So Probe CX, I'm sure you guys are probably aware of Probe CX. So Probe is the largest BPO or largest contact center BPO provider in the ANZ region. When we went to this particular campaign, we collected again data. This was on Genesis Cloud. We collected data across workforce management. We collected data across quality systems, across contact center. And when we looked at the data, what we realized was agents' knowledge on certain call types was really low. So if customers are calling us, calling about, hey, my delivery didn't come in, right? Agents just didn't know where to look for or whom to call, or how to find that information out, because they probably didn't know how to use the CRM well. They didn't know how to use the knowledge management system well, right? So there were certain call types for which maximum number of calls were coming in. So we did 80-20 analysis. So there were only about 4 or 5 call types for which agents were getting contacted the most by the customers, right? So what we effectively did was we focused on those call types and gave agents points, badges for answering quizzes, answering questions, using knowledge management systems, or performing those behaviors, which would hopefully help them serve customers better. And as they improved their knowledge, as they improved their quality on the conversation, they managed to solve customer problems quicker. And as they solved customer problems quicker, we saw a reduction on average handle time almost by about 42%, right? Which is anybody in contact center industry would realize that's a big gain. And if you look at us, our implementations across the globe, right? Barclays Bank at Teleperformance, we managed to save them $1 million, overall 15% improvement in productivity. This program ran for a year, and within a year, we managed to save them $1 million. Vodafone Qatar, we managed to improve the sales conversion by 175%. Again, same sort of thing, collect the data, understand the data story, understand what needs to be gamified, and then gamify. And that's what makes it different for us in comparison to the other providers. We're not a gamification company. We're a data company that uses gamification as a technique, as opposed to gamification company that just goes in and starts gamifying behaviors. We don't want to do that without really understanding the underlying data behind what's causing poor behaviors. So typically when customers sign up with us, within 90 days, you would get the return on investment. So it's very cost-effective solution, and kind of gains that you get are unbelievable. I mean, I'm biased probably, but you'll get a lot of great gains through gamification. We've got a very proven track record by working with a number of different players around the world. Yeah, so there are a bunch of questions. I could see them in Q&A section, but before I jump into Q&A section, Phil, what I might do is I might just quickly show people our platform, just give a quick glimpse of how it looks like looks like inside Genesys Cloud, then answer any Q&A type of questions. Anything you want to add, Phil, in between?
No, look, I'm keen to see it in action, Kunal. So we'll leave you to continue. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. So let's go to data games application. I thought I had it open there. So just to show you guys, if you, if you guys were to log into Genesys, and I'm just logging inside Genesys, you get data games app installed. So as you log inside Genesys Cloud, this is my profile. That's not Adam Roberts, that's me. But you effectively would see data games app being installed. So I can click on data games G Suite, and that's not restricted to Genesys. That can be any other application. If you have Avaya, we can install similar sort of experience for Avaya. Obviously, the nature of it might be a little bit different, or Salesforce. And in there, you will start seeing the data games application. So if I jump into the analytics screen, you would start seeing our reporting. So here I've got what I call as historical reporting. Again, we've collected data from a variety of different data sources. So you can start seeing different trends. So service levels, say HTS come from contact center data, QoS score comes from quality management system, NPS, CSAT percentage, that data is coming from survey tools. So straight away you can start seeing different trends. So I just clicked on the voice transactions. You see contact center is struggling as far as voice is concerned. Service levels are going down. Net promoter score is going down. So you can very quickly understand that in a 20 seconds, since I came on the screen, I realized that, hey, I need to focus as a contact center manager on the voice transactions. So let's understand what's happening on voice. What's the quality like on the voice transactions? So let me go in all the voice interactions. And again, I can click on voice and straight away understand if I remove voice here, my overall product knowledge is 84%, system utilization is 80, systems knowledge is 84%, soft skills are 83%. But when I look at voice transactions, that's when customers are calling me, my soft skills drop. So maybe agents are talking over customer, my product knowledge goes lower, my systems utilization goes lower. So let's look at, for example, soft skills, right? Hey, agents are not putting the product and the company values in positive light, right? Straight away, I get to see what are the areas. Agents are not showing empathy to the customers, right? So I can then drill down which agent is having those problems, which agent can I coach and train and things like that. But straight away, you can start looking at those types of insights, and I can sort of look at systems utilization. Agents are not taking good quality notes in CRM applications and things like that. And then what you do is once you have used that, analytics is where you can come in the goals section and design a game, where you sort of jump into the game design section and can start gamifying those behaviors. Sorry, just give it a tick. And while that's loading, when you, yeah, there you go. So you can actually go in, focus on the KPIs that you want to focus on. You can also set targets based on employee skill. So if somebody just joined the organization, you may want to give them a lower target in comparison to somebody who's been there for a while. So you create normalization in the performance. Otherwise, you know, you will end up always rewarding the same person. You can also create activities and behaviors. So here I'm inside Genesis, so I can create a simple game behavior that anybody who answers product quizzes to improve their knowledge, product quiz. And I'm going to give them 100 points if they answer that quiz correctly. So again, if they get percentage score of 100, I'm going to give them 100 points. So very easily, you can actually design these game rules. And as they earn points, they move from one level to the other. So you can have a basic car to begin with. And as you start scoring more points, you know, you move from one car avatar to the other. And all of that gets displayed on the big TV screen. I'll just quickly go into the presenter mode. So across the organization, you can have these TV screens running, or you can, you know, run these TV screens from the comfort of your home, and you will start seeing, you know, leaderboard, which shows you, and these leaderboards are on the behaviors, and the behaviors are designed based on your skill level. So if you've just joined the content, on this leaderboard, you might have just joined the contact center, but you still might be first, right? Because you're displaying all the right behaviors, and you're getting points for the behaviors as opposed to, you know, somebody who's been top performer through and through. Phil, is it all making sense? I mean, I know there are a bunch of questions that are coming through, and I'm quite keen to get to the questions. There is this car race, or iconic car race, where agents can run the cars between teams or agents. But Phil, what are your thoughts? Is it all sort of coming along for you?
Canal, it all makes perfect sense. Thanks very much, mate. You know, to be driving our behavior or our agents' behavior through actionable insights and across the, you know, a unified data set, you know, that's true power. And we know that, and we've seen that with customers that we've already implemented the solution with. So yeah, look, always happy to be in a data games demonstration, and it's always nice to have happy customers when they can see, you know, all of their data in one place and actually put that to use.
Absolutely. And as an agent, this is the agent experience. So just logging in as an agent, I can get to see my performance in the form of apple rings, as we call them, right? So I can pick a behavior. So in the game design where I showed you guys, you can have knowledge quizzes and things like that. So let's pull out a quiz score behavior or log into the platform or quiz attempt. So for example, I have my target to attempt quizzes within last 3 months was I should have answered 13 quizzes. I've only answered 6 quizzes. The best person in my team has also answered 6 quizzes, so it's all okay. And best person in the campaign has also answered 6 quizzes, so I'm doing okay. But it sort of shows you a comparison between you and your peers very quickly. And then what you can also go and check is what level you're on. So every time you cross a level, your car avatar changes. Now, Science absolutely smashing a target, so she's on top level. But it's a very nice and simple way for employees to really understand where they stand in the entire process. Then we also have another feature, which is challenges. So agents can challenge each other. So you can also get agents to boost each other's performance and say, let's see who gets better customer satisfaction score between you and I. So I can challenge Daisha and you know, Daryl or whoever I want, and throw them a challenge and say, hey, let's see who can get a better CSAT between today and tomorrow. And if you get a better CSAT, and obviously agents have autonomy to accept or reject the challenge. We don't want to push people, but if I accept the challenge, then I'm locked into a challenge. And if I do get my results, then you know, obviously I have chance of winning the lottery ticket. If I win a lottery at the end of the week, there is a lottery draw, and I have a chance of winning that lottery. Now, this is one of our most popular features. I just wanted to quickly show the guys, or show everyone our feature, which is around quizzes. So we get a lot of quizzes. This is part of our knowledge management portfolio. So just to show you guys the analytics side of things and coming back into our historical report really quickly. We talk about different call types or different reasons for which customers are calling us for. So for example, I can have complaints. So there are 140,000 calls that are coming around complaint. And if my knowledge of agents is really low around complaints, team leaders can start throwing challenges to agents on different subject areas. So I can throw them challenge around logistics, policies, complaints, procedures, all those different areas. And then you can straight away see for those types of things, what's my knowledge level like? And agents can see it. Team leaders can also get the insight. So roadside assist or logistics, my knowledge is only about 50%. So I can start getting those insights. So I need to really improve on my knowledge around logistics, right? And I can take these quizzes at a comfort of any time, right? Like I have time in between calls, I can take those quizzes. I can go into knowledge management systems and really look for an answer, so I can save and exit and come back and answer those quizzes. So yeah, so there are a lot of these different things which we have in the quizzes. And once I answer those quizzes, I'm just throwing random answers here. I submit, and I straight away get to see the quiz result. Now, I'm not really smart here. I got most of the questions wrong, but it shows me what's the right answer, but it also shows me the questions I got wrong and where I should sort of focus on. So I got 2 right out of 10. Not going to score any points, but at least now I know that these are the areas I got the answers wrong. So another way of managers to manage their teams and really improve the knowledge. So I'm going to take a pause now and stop sharing my screen and probably go to Q&A areas and really start addressing questions that people have been asking and trying to elaborate on that. Anything else, Phil, you want to add, or are you okay for me to go into Q&A?
Look, we can go into Q&A, Kunal, and I guess this quick question I had for you in regards to those quizzes was, obviously those quizzes can be molded and configured for various types of businesses. So some businesses may have regulatory compliance where they want their agents to do certain quizzes on, and they can be created in the system and then pushed out to those agents. Is that correct?
Yep, absolutely.
Yep,
100%.
Cool. Awesome.
Very, very good. And I'm seeing some really cool questions here. So I'm going to go to the first question that Cass asked around, do you have integration with Genesis on-prem or it's cloud only? We do integrate with Genesis on-prem, Genesis Engage as it's called. And yes, we do have an integration with that. So you can sort of take our application, integrate with whatever may be the system and really get it running. Can provide real-time wallboard dashboards, analytics, and gamification on Genesis on-prem solutions as well. Integration with ServiceNow ITSM. Interesting question. We literally just finished integration with ServiceNow. So I can positively say, yes, we do have an integration, Brad, with ServiceNow ITSM. Yeah, what about the customer experience? Were there improvements? So just to give you case studies here, Cass, we need to define, we have a process that we call as business discovery process, where we sit down with customers and really try and understand what is it that they're trying to improve. So just to give you one example, again, on Vodafone landscape, they wanted to improve Net Promoter Score and customer satisfaction score. When we focused on those areas, we again really created games to improve Net Promoter Score. So in those types of scenarios, average handle time or wrap time were not the parameters. You can take longer, but make sure that customer leaves happy. And we managed to increase Net Promoter Score by 15%, 20%. So we got a lot of different case studies around that, and happy to share those, Cass, if you're interested. But yeah, absolutely. Next question again from Cass, which is around what is the effort required at a business level to define quality questions? It's Excel download. So most of the times, quality managers would effectively have those questions ready or handy, or there might be existing knowledge management system from which you can sort of take those questions, but it's literally download and upload. What we typically do is we get team leaders, quality managers, everybody to participate together, and we share an Excel spreadsheet with them and get them to load as many questions as they can. And always the questions are multiple choice. So it's generally a simple effort. So across all the implementations that we have done within a week, we see about 70, 80 different questions that get added. Question from Gayatri there is work from home scenario. Can I measure Gamify background noise levels or other experience? Yeah, Gayatri, yes. So I'm wearing Jabra headsets, as you guys can see. So we just recently announced a partnership with Jabra, and we are actually gamifying headset experience as well. So if you guys are very interested in understanding how you can gamify those headsets, let us know. But from work from home scenarios, the kind of areas that we tackling to that very specific question is if you sitting in an environment that is a lot of background noise, we're trying to compare what's the impact of background noise on your overall performance or Net Promoter Score, CSAT score, or average handle time, and we're trying to improve that you know, by gamifying those performance areas. Okay, so next question again is have you had any data on the change in behaviors for the middle pack agents? Loads of data. So I'm trying to answer this question in the simplest possible format, but we have data sets and changes in agents' performance and agents' behaviors, not only at the middle level, but also at the bottom level, top level. So that's something we measure. We call that a performance management report. So week in and week out, we'll sit down and really understand who has actually improved their behaviors, and our Power BI reports actually cover those areas. We also take that a level above. We're trying to understand which behaviors are also negatively impacting. So it's not just about positive behaviors. Sometimes we do end up gamifying, and we need to be open to that. We do end up gamifying wrong behaviors, which may not have a good impact on the performance. So we also identify that. And as far as middle pack agents are concerned, we generally see great gains in middle pack and the lower pack. And that's just been our experience, in terms of getting them to improve the performance. Now, another question there, how does this help you manage poor performance apart from, well, we're not here to highlight bad performance. We are here to figure out what behaviors that poor performance are not performing and help them manage those performance parameters. What I did not cover as part of this demo today, or a quick webinar, is our Elm Tree and knowledge management area. So when we say somebody is a poor performer, typical philosophy in contact center is they have high AHT or low sales numbers or whatever. For us, poor performer means somebody's not performing the behaviors correctly. So for us, we identify people who are not performing the behaviors. That means they're not engaged. So you might be a top performer in conventional sense, but not helping your teammates. So for example, I might be smashing my sales targets, but I'm not helping my teammates improve their knowledge. For us, that's a bad performer. And then we'll focus on those behaviors and help them improve the challenges, improve the performance. Another question, does the challenges integrate with work for WFM for scheduling of a quiz? Absolutely it does. So you can not only schedule it for WFM, you can also schedule the training sessions. So we're launching a training module very soon where you can actually go through the entire process and figure out who is the poor performer or where do they need coaching. We actually also going to get agents to nominate an area where they don't feel comfortable with, and they come in and ask for training in those areas. And what you can do is you can schedule that with WFM. We have a connector with Genesis where you can actually do that. We haven't got a connector for other systems, but we can definitely build one. A lot of questions coming my way. How does that information of fails or quiz outcome loop back to training and people? So the manager screen that we talked about. So on the manager screen, we have different personas. So as managers, we say quality managers, L&D managers, operations manager, contact center manager. So everybody would have access to analytics through and through. And if you're a training manager, or people and culture manager, or quality manager, you would get access to all those training insights and areas where agents have locked. So that quality report, which I quickly showed you guys, you can effectively access that and really answer as a training manager that this is a call type or this is the area where I have to improve. Sometimes we also identify that the quality forms that contact centers have built have a lot of gaps. So agents might be smashing their quality scores, but it's still not improving their CSAT scores or AHT. So all those behaviors also get highlighted. Another question from Brad, what is the timeline for process once you sign up to complete the integrations? 2 to 4 weeks, typically. Depends if integrations are too complex, then what we do is we actually start the games on the back of Excel spreadsheets and we say, hey, let's use integration as a second milestone and we get that going. But typically, if you're on, for example, Genesis Cloud or Avaya or have our existing connector with Genesis Engage or any of those processes, you can literally go live in 2 weeks. And that 2 weeks is not for technology. It's more on the change management. It's more on getting people together, doing business discovery and things like that. What level of support offered after integration is complete with data games? Great question. So we have a very strict change management program. So we have a number of different packages in there depending on what level of maturity your organization has on change management side of things. Gamification, implementation of any software, we believe is all about change management and getting that program right. So we have one of the packages where we do 2 calls post gone live. First, we have gone live 2 weekly calls, and then after that, every month we'll sit down with you. Then other package we have is where we do sit down every week for 8 weeks in a row and make sure that we do the governance in terms of how people are performing and things like that. Then the last question I have is, have you implemented into a service desk, or there are a couple more, have you implemented into a service desk environment before, and were the results as good as contact centers? It's interesting to compare it with contact centers. It's a little bit different because contact centers come in different shapes and sizes, in a sense that some contact centers are really focused on SLAs. Some contact centers are just focused on service levels. Some contact centers are just focused on sales. Whereas service desk environments can be a little bit different. Again, giving one of the examples from one of our customers here in Australia, where we have implemented actually the largest car manufacturer in Australia, where we have implemented our software in service desk type of environment. A lot of focus was on first call resolution and giving customers an ability or giving customers the right information at the right time. So there was a lot of focus on knowledge. If implemented correctly, service desk, we looked at actual time to resolution, turnaround times, and we had some amazing gains there. And Brad would love to talk more if we get chance to showcase our product to you. Cass, another question from Cass. What is the time requirement for the SME to set up and maintain your solution? Okay, so there are 4 different people involved. So agents, we expect them to spend about 10 minutes a day on the platform. Team leaders, about 10 to 15 minutes a day on the platform. If you're an administrator or a subject matter expert in maintaining gamification solution, we expect you to spend about an hour a month that's tops. But we also have a change management process, which is probably, if it's the same person who's running it, that's probably 30 minutes a week. So give or take about 5 hours in a month. Do you have any reference sites we can contact in Western Australia? Perth would be okay. So I got to think. We've got quite a few referenceable customers in Australia. Western Australia, particular, I may not be able to top of my head. But Cass, if you're interested, I could get you to speak to probably guys at Pro Group or any of our referenceable customers nationally, and they do have a lot of customers within Western Australia region. So happy to work with you on that.
And I'll just jump in there. Kunal, I know you're an absolute library and a book of knowledge on data games, and thank you very much for answering all of those questions for us. If there is anyone that has any further questions or wants to delve deeper into it, please hold on after the call finishes. We still have a prize to give away, but look, just so anyone knows, please hold on, and more than happy for Kunal and I to answer any questions. Also, it's important to emphasize that Synergy is a, I guess, preferred SI and support partner of Data Games, so we can underpin all of the solutions and integrations and implementations that have been discussed here today. So once again, more than happy to have those discussions with you.
Absolutely.
Cool. Awesome. All right. So the Uber Eats prize, one of the most exciting parts. Now, I'm sure you'll remember how this works. I've got a question here for you, and the first person to answer that question correctly in the chat will win the prize. So during the call today, Kunal shared the Coles online case study, and he shared a percentage reduction in average handling time. The first person to be able to answer that correctly as to what that percentage was will win the Uber Eats voucher. And Chris Saunders, the answer of 42%, you're absolutely correct. If you could please just hold on after we finish up, I'll confirm your details and we can get that out to you ASAP. Now, please don't worry. We want everyone to leave with something or have the opportunity to experience the data game solution. So Kunal, if you'd like to talk to how we would like to offer all of the participants or the attendees a free trial or an insight, please go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, for us, seeing is believing. I mean, we built this business ground up by offering customers actually an ability and chance to use our product. So if you guys want to try it, quickly do some sort of proof of concept, make sure that the product works, feel free to do so. If you're on Genesis Cloud users, there is already an offer there, but feel free to get in touch with Phil. Would love to do a free trial, free POC, show you the full capabilities, try it for a month, and then you really understand what it's all about. Because, you know, many a times it's a partnership with customers, as we say, to get their data story right, get their gamification story right, but nothing like, you know, seeing it in action. So more than happy to, you know, offer a trial if any one of you is interested.
Thank you, Kunal. So look, that brings us to the conclusion of today's webinar. One thing I would like to quickly add before we sign off is obviously Synergy has that deep history and contact center. So for any of our attendees today that have been on the call, if you're yet to transition to the cloud, we are well versed at helping vendors evaluate, customers or evaluate vendors on the market and fit to your requirements and your particular use cases. So more than happy to further that discussion with you. We'll remain online for another 10 minutes or so, so please feel free to hold on and ask any questions you'd like. Other than that, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you all on the call today. Have a great afternoon, and we'll talk to you all soon. Thank you.